Two students apply to the same elite university. Both have great grades, strong test scores, stellar recommendations, excellent activities and employment, and their writing skills garner equivalent accolades from the university's admissions committee. One student is accepted, the other is not. What is the only difference in their qualifications? One student has parents who graduated from the university. The other does not. Sometimes your qualifications aren't the only thing measured to gain admission to the college of your choice. Hi, I'm Margaret Meek, and this is why legacy admissions challenge the notion of fair college admissions. College admissions is not a clear-cut process. It isn't always fair. While colleges try to use quantifiable numbers such as your grade point average, class rank, or test scores to evaluate students, some portions of the admissions process are subjective. Evaluating essays or short answer questions is an excellent example of the opportunity for subjectivity. The use of legacy admissions is another. Legacy admissions is a program some colleges and universities use to award advantage in the admissions process to the children of that college's alumni. Many believe that legacy status is a birthright of the children of those who graduated from their school. It is also important to note that legacy programs work generally with undergraduate versus graduate admission programs. There are two levels of legacy. The first is primary, when your parent graduated from the school you are applying to. The second is secondary, which means that your grandparents or other family members graduated from that school. Not all schools award status to anything other than primary legacies, and not all colleges award advantages to legacies, period. The concept of legacy admissions dates back to the 1920s. Institutions would use legacy designation to fill their classes as the admission pool was small. The programs grew into a reason to withhold critical selection points from students they did not want to have attend their college. Over the years, as colleges grew, the number of legacies that became eligible for points grew. Soon, colleges recognized that they could not utilize the legacy concept without guaranteeing admission to every student who met the definition of a legacy. Some schools abandoned the program, and some reshaped it. Legacy admissions are a flashpoint for college admissions, as utilizing extra favor for legacies excludes any class of individuals who are first-generation students and families who were excluded from attending that college in earlier generations. Legacy admissions positively impact generally white and more affluent families. You may be asking, what is the point of legacy admissions? Why is it important to those colleges? There are three general reasons provided to answer those questions. Students from a college-educated family are more likely to complete their degree. The school deems those legacies a better investment of their time and attention. The school respects tradition and continues their love of the institution throughout the generations. And because alums who wish to utilize the legacy program tend to donate more money to the institution. Those increased funds are then used to fund tuition support programs for students admitted to that college but who cannot afford tuition. They argue that the legacy program helps to fund students from financially challenged families. As you might expect, it is not unusual that the opportunity to have your child admitted as a legacy is enhanced based on the parent's level of giving. Those colleges award points based on legacy status. That may be enough to put the legacy student's application into the acceptance pile, or not, depending on the strength of the student's qualifications. In some cases, such as the University of Michigan, legacy students are awarded 4 points for their status. There are a possible 150 points available in the Michigan admissions rubric. Other campuses use legacy status as a decision point when there are students with matching scores. Being a legacy itself does not guarantee admissions into any school. You still have to meet the qualifications of that institution. As these programs have evolved, the most significant impact has been felt in the colleges with the lowest acceptance rate. Harvard is a great example. Annually, Harvard accepts around 2,000 students. In 2022, 36% of the students accepted were legacies. The remaining freshman class comprises athletes awarded acceptance and the general population of applicants. With an acceptance rate of less than 5%, the competition for admissions becomes an even more significant challenge when legacies take 30+% of the available slots. While Harvard gets much of the spotlight for their admissions program, in 2021, the University of Pennsylvania had a legacy acceptance rate of 22%. It was 10% at Brown and 3.98% at Princeton. Colleges considered to be top-tier schools tend to have legacy programs. And interestingly, some colleges like University of Pennsylvania and Cornell only use legacy admissions preferences during their early binding process. No legacy advantage is awarded during the regular admissions process. It is also important to note that even if the school does not award points in the admissions process, some schools offer special scholarships to legacy students who are admitted. Still others provide special events, application advice, or support to legacy students without putting a thumb on the selection scale for that student during the selection process. Why have colleges abandoned their legacy program? Some do it because they want to offer more slots to all students who score the highest on their admissions criteria. Other schools want to utilize the spaces to expand the diversity of their freshman class and believe that the legacy program hinders that opportunity. And in some cases, such as Colorado, legacy admissions have been outlawed. More than 100 colleges have eliminated legacy programs since 2015. The impact of legacy admissions is being monitored in several states like California, where the state mandates the tracking and reporting of legacy admissions. Many who oppose the concept of legacy admissions believe that transparency of selection procedure is the only way to ensure that the program is not being used to propagate privileged student admissions. Over the decades, there have been many attempts to regulate or eliminate legacy programs at the national level, but those attempts have fallen short of becoming law. When you are approaching your application process at one of the colleges or universities where one or both of your parents have graduated, ask that admissions counselor what the school's stance is on legacy students. Get specific clarification on how your legacy status may impact your application process, or if they offer scholarships or awards to admitted legacy students. When it comes time to apply to that college, your application will ask for the education history of your parents. That is how they will be notified of your primary status. If you wish to claim secondary status, you need to ask the admission representatives how best to make that claim. Legacy admissions are a mixed bag, as some schools offer the programs and some refuse to do so. Without full transparency by the institution, it is difficult to understand how legacy admissions will impact your application. Keep your eyes on this topic. Legacy admissions are currently under fire as they are seen as a method to protect the elite families who have benefited from the advantages of attending a selective school. But it is up to each college to determine its use of legacy programs. As you build your list of colleges receiving your application, be sure to understand the impact of legacy admissions on their selection process. If you found any of this information useful, hit the like button or perhaps consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below.